What's up, everyone? This is Devin. We're back for Sports Talk, our betting show that we do here on our Amateur Life Network. We got Cavi on the line again.
Hello, hello.
So we're going to jump right into looking at this lines from DraftKings is what we use. Not affiliated with them or anything. It'd be great if they wanted to jump on board with us. That's kind of the site I use, I guess. And so we always look at that one. First game we got up is Saints versus Cardinals for the Thursday night game. I'm kind of surprised I guess Saints have been doing a little bit better lately. I'm surprised it's only 2 points though for Cardinals. I was kind of expecting at least three being there. But Cardinals and Kyler Murray seems to have struggled lately too. So I could see this really going either way. But
Yeah, yeah,
I'm leaning toward taking the two though on the Cardinals.
yeah. I mean, they're both 2-4 teams. They're both really struggling. The problem is with this one is I'm pretty sure Andy Dalton's out on this game, or he's banged up a little bit, and then D Hop is back for the Cardinals, which is absolutely huge.
Yeah.
So it's just I just can't believe this line's only two. The Saints haven't really had a great schedule, and they've looked horrible.
Yeah.
I mean, they lost the Panthers, and that's our only win. So I mean. It's just they just looked horrible. They're still a little banged up. Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas are both probably still out. Chris Olave will be back this week, and they still have Kamara and uh, Latavius Murray's kind of starting to become a second back for them instead of Ingram. So, but I mean, they're just banged up. They're not looking great. Their defense is nothing like it has been in the last few years. You know, they're under the new coaching staff, and they're just kind of struggling. And Cardinals are also struggling, but they're kind of getting fully healthy, kind of going the right way up compared to the Saints kind of going down.
Yeah.
So I really like the two here. I'm surprised it's not more for the Cardinals.
That's my thought. At least three, at least being at home.
Mm-hmm.
A 3 point line is where I would put it. Cause yeah, I believe I had heard Andy Dalton's out as well. Also, Saints ain't really gonna have anyone. You'll probably see a lot of the Wildcat style with um what is the name? Taysom Hill or whatever. There.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if you'll see the over. It's at 44, which is about neutral. Oh, I mean, I guess it really just depends. I think how many Cardinals score with D Hop back. If they put up a decent amount, I mean, I think Saints may get a touchdown or two, so they might give them 14, and then yeah, Cardinals put up 30 points to get you to the over. Is kind of where I look at it. Or
I
no,
don't know. I saw a stat. I wish I remember it, but it's like the unders like 85% this season, and it's like
yeah,
if you bet like $100 on every under, you'd be up like 18K or something. I don't know what it is, but
yeah. So I mean, they're pretty good with predicting what the kind of average score is going to be. So, and this is right in the wheelhouse of where I think a NFL game normally has finished. So, if I was going to take one, I would take the under probably more likely than the over, but I'm going to stay away from it overall.
yeah, I'm gonna stay away from that. I'm gonna take the spread for Cardinals, but the over under I'm just gonna stay away from.
No, that's what the same line I'm going with. Now this game, and we just kind of talked about in our Lions podcast, but Lions versus Cowboys. We said Cowboys are favored by 7. As we were talking, at least my hope is that Lions keep this game fairly close, if not pull off a win. And so I mean, in theory, I would say take the 7 points of the Lions. Where I'd look, 7 points in the NFL is kind of about, it's normally a one-score game, so that's 8 points or less. They say. So this is kind of right in that wheelhouse, but at the same time, I guess I would take points on Cowboys, just hoping that I jinx the Cowboys and Lions win.
Yeah, I mean, like we talked about in the Lions podcast, but Dak's back. They're kind of getting fully healthy. Lions just came off a bye week, and it's just like who knows what they are, but they tend to keep games close, other than the Patriots game. So I actually lean the +7 for Detroit, but kind of like you said, I hate betting again. I betting on Detroit. So I'll probably just stay away from it just because of that. But if I had to choose, I would choose the +7 for Detroit.
If I had to choose, I'd probably go that route. But again, I'm just gonna stay away in general. Just let whatever happens happen. Like I said, it'd be more fun to hopefully jinx the Cowboys and take the -7. But at the same time, if I did that and then Lions don't win but keep it close, I'm gonna be pissed both ways. So I'm just gonna stay away
Right.
all around,
Yeah.
even with the
Same with the
over
over under.
under. Yeah, that's too just man. We know Lions can score, but and they give up a lot of points. But when you start getting close to that 50 mark, it gets
Scary.
scary. New York Giants versus the Jags. Jags are favored 3. Are the Jags starting to come alive? I mean, well, both
I
of these
mean,
teams are
they
looking better than what they have in the past, I would think.
this one's definitely scary. I mean, the Jags had a rough game 2 weeks ago against the Texans. They lost against the Texans, and then
Mm-hmm.
they come back this week and beat. Or no, did they lose to the Colts or who did they play?
Yeah, they did lose to the Colts. I'm pretty sure.
So I think they were coming off two pretty rough losses, and for some reason, the Giants are the best team in the NFL, minus the Eagles. I don't understand how they're figuring out to win these games, and they just beat the Ravens, and the Ravens are a very good team.
Yeah.
I mean, Saquon's all the way back. He looks like he probably is the best running back in the league right now,
Uh,
especially for what he can do to his team. Daniel Jones is actually playing okay. He's kind of on his last life here with the New York Giants, and he's playing okay. And that defense is really rolling. So I mean, I'm really surprised about this line. I don't know. I don't know if there's injuries or what, but I mean, for Giants to be 3-point underdogs really surprises me.
I mean, a little bit it does me, but at the same time, I mean, it's played at Jags, so that, it kind of gives them a little bit favorite there. Or I guess I don't know for sure what injuries are going on at this moment to and know why this line might be favoring the Jags. I think Jags have to do something though. So I'm leaning towards actually just taking the -3. Maybe there's just something I don't 100% know and take the -3 and hope it works out.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta take the money line for Giants. I've bet against them all year, and they just find ways to win. I mean, they've been underdogs in a lot of their games, and
Yeah.
for
Jags
some
did
reason,
screw me last week because I took them over the Colts and they didn't pan out. So see if they can do
yeah.
it
So
2 weeks in a row or if they can redeem themselves.
the over under is kind of tough again. I would probably take the over if I had to choose, but I'll probably stay away.
Yeah, I would stay away. I haven't been super strong on over unders this year. Here. And like you
Yeah,
said, unders is apparently the play to kind of do, but it just scares me because all it takes is
never
one
know
team to
with the
kind of go
NFL.
off. We still got Falcons versus Bengals. Bengals are currently favored by 6 points. I mean, personally, I'm surprised this isn't more. Or Bengals been playing pretty good lately, in my opinion. Falcons, I think they did have finally a better game last week, but other than that, they haven't really impressed me this season. So, oh, I don't like -6. I mean, I guess that's better than -7 because that's a full touchdown. But what are your thoughts on this game?
Bengals just haven't impressed me at all this season. I mean, they're finding ways to win, but they just don't look great. And the Falcons have been a surprise. I mean, I think they're 2-4, are they?
Yeah,
And I mean, they've had not a super tough schedule, but kind of tough. And they've should have beat the Bucks 2 weeks ago, but they had that stupid roughing the passer call, and I think they pulled off a win last week. I can't remember against who, but I mean, they're really surprising people, and they're playing okay. So I actually like Atlanta +6 here. I'm not going crazy and taking money line, but I think it's like a 3-point game, and I actually like the over on this one.
yeah, I definitely could see it being a close game, and but at the same time, yeah, I wouldn't take money line, and I'm kind of with you there. I think Bengals figure a way to get the win, but yeah, it could be a close game. Like I said, 6 is a little high for what I would like. I'd even be willing to take like a 5 or 4.5, line even. And I don't know why that makes me feel a little bit more comfortable than 6, but maybe because it's 2 field goals or something crazy happens with an extra point or something stupid like that. And,
Hmm.
um, man, so I'm kind of leaning. I guess if I had to take one, I'm still taking the -6. I think Bengals win, and so I guess I'd go that way. Green Bay Packers versus Washington Commanders. Packers are 4.5 favorites. I don't. I mean, Commanders have sucked this year, in my opinion, and but
Very much so.
so has the Packers. I could see this being a close game, a 3-point game type of deal. So I'm almost leaning to taking the points for the 4.5 with Commanders, or I'm staying away. I guess my two ways I'd go on that.
Yeah, this one's tough because I mean, I just feel like Aaron Rodgers coming off back to back losses, back to back MVP seasons. I think you just think he's gonna have to figure it out. I mean, it's the same thing with Tom Brady. You just think that team's gonna figure it out, isn't it? You would think it would be against a team like the Commanders who are really struggling.
Yeah.
So I just this
This
line does scare me, but I think I'd have to go the -4.5. I wish it was -3, but
yeah.
I
I
definitely
personally
have to go Packers here.
I personally think Rodgers is like hated by his team. I'm almost
I don't
thinking they're
know.
like, take your crystal whatever meditating bullshit out of here, whatever that crazy stuff he was doing, with the long hair and everything that he's done, and all his whatever he got going. And because I mean, you just watch the line and it just don't look like, it almost looks like they're letting some people through. It seems like the lines have been struggling for the Packers. Receivers are dropping balls that are hitting them square in the hands. I mean, you can say it's just not good receiving core and stuff, but I mean, you're still an NFL wide receiver. Or it's like,
They've been they've been struggling all around, and Aaron, kind of like you said, I mean, Aaron's playing well, but it just seems like I don't know. There's just something going around in that locker room or something that's
yeah,
causing this to happen.
that's my opinion. There's got to be something going on in the locker room, that is just causing it for, or stuff to go wrong. Because as I don't know, I see Aaron Rodgers. If it doesn't change around, I could see him retiring after this year, just going off into the wilderness.
Yeah, he's the way he is. So I really like the over here.
I mean, yeah,
I
I
mean,
guess that's fairly on the low side. So yeah, I would say over two. Oh,
but
I guess I'm gonna go opposite as you as well. I mean, I know Packers should, Aaron's got to turn something around, but I'm gonna take Commanders at +4.5. I think Packers pull off the win, and that's what they're gonna do to get the game rolling. But I think it's close. I think it's within 3. If the line was -3, I'd probably take Packers, but at the 4.5, I'm taking Commanders.
yeah, it's a weird line. I'm gonna stick with the Packers, but I kind of agree with you. I'm gonna take the over and the -4.5 for Packers.
Jumping into another team that I think has some quarterback issues and just some stuff going on is Tampa Bay Buccaneers versus Panthers. And kind of both of the team, I guess, have, quarterback issues. Baker hasn't been playing well. The quarterback or the coach, interim coach or whatever he is that is coaching right now for Panthers, said that Baker's going to have to earn his spot back when he comes back from injury. He's not just going to be giving it back. Bucks, Brady's been pissed that his line isn't like blocking and stuff like that. But also, as a lineman that's there 5 days a week and Brady's off 2 days for personal days and shit, it's like, don't tell me to do my fucking job when you're not even here. So, I mean, that's what I would be saying. I know
Yeah,
your
I
team
just
and everything, but when you're getting every week a day or two off, don't have to show up to practice and don't have to get ready to prep for the game like the rest of us, you're not in it to win.
yeah. I mean, Tom Brady did a podcast, and basically they asked him what because I mean you see him every week. He's breaking those dang iPads. He's the Surface Pros. He's yelling at his offensive line. I mean, there's something every week, and he's not looking good. And he has one of the best receiving core in football right now, and he's just not looking all that great. Obviously, their defense is struggling, but I mean, he basically said in the podcast that he feels like he has to be the one to motivate his offensive line. He feels like he's like, oh, it's not going to be a running back or it's not going to be a receiver. He looks at himself as the leader, which yes, he's correct, but kind of like you said, if he's taking 2 days off, if he was kind of off during the off season a little bit, he's not putting. I
Yeah.
mean,
How is
in the
that being
fans' view anyway, he's not putting in the work as everybody else, and that's kind of what alerts me. And I think that would just cause some kind of toxic and
yeah.
problems in the locker
It,
room.
and the coach last year for Bucks, Aaron's there. I think he was able to kind of put the BS, get the BS, out of there. He was able to kind of keep everyone smoothed over in the locker room, and stuff like that. Where now that he's not there and he's not shutting Brady down, and this other coach is like probably don't want to really challenge Brady too much, but it's because he's such a good, he's just a name and everything. I mean, I don't know. To me, I wish he would have stayed retired after,
Yeah, he should have.
in my opinion. And I think they just have too many issues going on. And if Brady's not going to be there and be 100% committed, then they're not making any type of Super Bowl run by any means. They might barely make
Yeah.
playoffs. So looking at this game, though, it's an 11-point line over your Panthers.
I mean, like you said, I mean, we could talk. I'm not going to go too crazy into it just in case I do my podcast with them, but I mean, they're in the same boat. We're on PJ Walker, who is our third string quarterback. He's okay, but he's an XFL quarterback. He's not an NFL starter. And we do have a lot of injuries on the defense. Who a lot of them are coming back this week, and our defense is still playing fine. It's just that all. I mean, Christian McCaffrey accounted for 80, or it was like 76% of offense. Yeah, offensive yardage and touches, and it's just been a mess. And we got a new coach, we got a new defensive coordinator, our offensive coordinator is horrible. I don't know why we still have him on our third quarterback. They kicked Robbie Anderson out of the game and traded him the next day. So I mean, it's just a mess right now. Both of these teams it's a division game too. That's what's crazy. I mean, both of these teams are really struggling right now. A lot of things going on, kind of in the locker room, and it's just crazy. But that being said, I really like the plus 11. That's a lot of freaking points right now, especially
Yeah.
for a struggling team.
Yep. I mean, both teams are struggling, but 11 points when most games are within one score, like I keep saying, that one score mark. But man, it would be just hard not to take the plus 11 on this.
Yeah, I'm not gonna, but yeah, I honestly want to take money line for Carolina. That's how bad the Bucks have looked, in my opinion.
Yeah, Panthers hasn't been looked strong enough for that for me. I would definitely be taking the plus 11, but man, I wish this was closer. Honestly, if it was, I would even probably take a 7-point game with Bucks.
Yeah,
just because of how much
I would take plus 7 for Panthers.
you would still take plus 7 for Panthers. I would take -7 for Bucks probably if that line was option.
I mean, I'd really like to take the over here, but Carolina's the worst scoring offense in the league. And the Bucks really struggle in the red zone. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure I have Tampa Bay's kicker on my fantasy team. I'm pretty sure he's my highest score every week. So
Yeah. All right, we'll jump
it's a
down
crazy week.
into Cleveland Browns versus Ravens. Is Deshaun coming back for Browns yet?
No, not until week 12, I think.
Oh, and I
think
thought he only
it
had
was
like
originally 7, I think, when they moved it.
Let's say, because I didn't think it was only like 6 games or something, and we're on what, week 7 now?
Week 7.
Yeah. So this game right now, Ravens are favored at 6.5 points. I mean, Ravens are a good team. It's getting up there. It's close to that 7 mark. I like that it's at 6.5. I'm taking the -6.5 for Ravens. I mean, I don't see Cleveland winning this by any means, but I mean they could make it interesting, make it close, but I see Ravens still figuring it out and getting the win by at least a touchdown.
Yeah, I mean, the Ravens have a pretty dang good defense. They can stop the run, and that's about all the Browns can do with Chubb and Hunt. So I agree with the Ravens coming off a tough loss actually against the Giants, and Lamar didn't play all that great. So I like the -6.5 here for them.
Yeah. So we're kind of the same there. Over under, I'm not touching. I mean, they could get over this, but I just gonna stay away.
Yep.
Last 1 o'clock game on Sunday is Colts versus Titans. Haven't they already matched up once this year?
Yeah, they did, and Tennessee, I think, won that.
I want to say yeah, and I think it was a close one too, because both of the teams were not as good as what we thought. So again, I think you're gonna probably see a lot of runs. I don't know if Hines is back for Colts, if he's out of concussion protocol yet.
Well, Jonathan Taylor might be back this week.
Is he? That'd be
I
helpful
think. I
too.
mean, I'm not positive, but on fantasy, he's predicted points and he's still questionable. Normally fantasy, when that happens, they end up playing. But
Yeah. I mean, Hines is projected points as well, so that's why I don't know. Oh, and he just had his concussion. This would be 2 weeks ago. So I mean, that would help Colts because right now they don't have a running game. They don't have offense really at all. So, I would take Tennessee Titans, I guess, not knowing for sure if they're gonna have both Jonathan Taylor and them back. Like if Jonathan Taylor and Hines are if both or one of them are back, I'd probably lean towards taking the +2 to see, it's hard to beat a team twice as much as they're bad.
yeah, the Colts have looked horrible. I mean, Matt Ryan's on pace to have the most fumbles in NFL history, and
I mean, he did
if
get a win though
if he
last
can
week.
just he did, but it was against the Jags, who came off a pretty rough week before that.
I would put the
So
Jags
who
better
kind
than
of
Titans.
I don't know. Tennessee's kind of been figuring out lately. They're 3-3, are they?
I think so now. I can't remember their schedule off the
It
top of my
might
head,
be.
but
It might be 2-4, but
man,
I just
I
no. They're 3-2 actually. So is the Colts 3-2-1. So I don't know.
I
It's
think
tough.
I'm banking on it being hard to beat a team twice. Hey, something's gonna screw up, and like I said, if Jonathan Taylor's back, I think that's really gonna help Colts. This could be both sides are gonna be run heavy because you got Derrick Henry on the one side, then you got Jonathan Taylor on the other. So it's gonna be run heavy. I might even look at taking the under in this just because I think it's gonna be so heavy.
Yeah, I'm probably just gonna stay away at this game.
I think I take +2 for Colts for sure. I think I'm gonna stay away from the under right now though. 4 o'clock games. We have Houston Texans versus Las Vegas Raiders. Raiders are favored by 7 points. I really don't know how to feel about the Raiders. I know how I feel about Texans. And Texans to me just are by far one of the worst teams in the NFL, obviously.
Yeah, the Raiders just kind of unfortunate the way their schedule's been.
Yeah, they always seem to have a fairly tough schedule.
I mean, honestly, looking at it, I don't know.
And
They they're
what's the
just been
record?
underperforming. They are 2-4, I believe. Or yeah, 2-4.
And who is their losses to?
Oh, they're 1-4. So they lost to the Chiefs, which are pretty bad. They beat the Broncos, which they should. They lost to the Titans. They lost to Cardinals, and they lost to Chargers. So Chargers are a pretty good team. Cardinals are struggling. Tennessee is struggling.
But it's
Chiefs
the
are good.
Texans that they're
So
playing. But it is 7 points, I guess, is where you're looking.
that's what I'm saying. That's a lot of points. And Texans came off winning against the Jags. I think they came off a bye week. So if you're talking like they're just like the Lions, who kind of knows? I'm gonna stay away. If I had to choose, I would probably take Raiders -7 just because I don't think Texans are good still. But I don't know.
You got me wanting to take the Texans. I mean, Texans like it. You said they're not good, but they have to win over the Jags. They have 3 losses, and then didn't they tie the Colts or someone early
Yeah, yeah, week one.
week one? And because that was the first game where it was like Colts were like, okay, they're gonna get. We thought like Colts are not good apparently, and so I don't know. And it's that higher mark of 7 points. It's a full touchdown. Man, I guess I'm staying away.
Yeah,
I
it's
can't.
tough.
I can't quite
Yeah,
talk
I
myself
can't.
into taking the 7. And I was thinking of it, but I just can't quite talk myself into the 7 points there. I'm going to stay away like you.
And I really like the over, but just the way the stats and NFL's been going, I'm just gonna stay away from that as well.
Yeah, I think as well. I would probably lean more under, but not 100% sure. Going on to Jets versus Broncos. I mean, I might as well take the +1 point because money line is both -110 and then 1 point favorite, 1+ points for Jets. So I'm leaning to taking the Jets with +1 on this one.
This game, I mean, the Jets are good, right? I mean, they just
I mean, they looked pretty decent with even with Zach Wilson coming back, and
last 2 weeks they look really good, and I mean, they're young, they're fast, they're athletic, they're great coaching, and
I feel like
Broncos are absolutely horrible.
they're a playoff team in my opinion. The Jets
I
are as
I
much as we
agree.
haven't seen that in a long time.
I
But
mean, I'm honestly surprised of this line a little bit. So I think he'll probably end up being a pick 'em, just because I mean Russell Wilson's still questionable. He's questionable every week. He shouldn't be playing. They say every time he gets into a game.
yeah,
But I mean, he's been horrible. That whole team's. I mean, other than that defense, their defense has been playing really well. That's the only thing that keeps them in the games.
yeah.
And I don't know. I agree the +1 all day, and I really like the over. Every time it's in the 30s, I'd take the over. I think this year it's about 50-50. So
Yeah, but I would definitely look at taking the over, even though Broncos normally can't score or
I mean,
they
the Jets
struggle
can
to
score
score.
30
But
themselves. They have a few times this year.
yeah,
They're close to it.
so yeah, I think we're both on the +1 though for sure. And then I guess yeah, take the over. We'll both take the over on this as well. Oh, so
Yeah.
looking at then Chiefs versus 49ers right now. Chiefs are 2.5 point favorites. It's at 49ers. I feel like 49ers are one of those teams that always give Chiefs a struggle. Oh,
They do, but I'm never high on the 49ers, and they just such a weird team to me.
I mean, yeah,
I just I mean, they just lost to the Falcons pretty bad. Like they looked horrible. They lost to the Broncos. It's a horrible loss. But I don't know. But they smoked the Rams. They smoked the Seahawks with what they're supposed to. They also lost to the Bears week 1, which was kind of a fluke because of the weather, but
yeah.
I don't know. The Niners are just not the Niners to me until later in the season when they figure everything out typically. And Bose is still out, which kills their
See,
defense.
I feel yeah, that hurts their defense a lot, but I feel like Garoppolo is such a game manager that I guess I give with Boza out, you need that strong defense out of 49ers in order to, allow for Garoppolo to game manage. So I guess I would lean to take the Chiefs in this, even though I don't want to. I mean, like everything's telling me to take 49ers.
I'm I'm hammering Chiefs. If it got to that 3 points, I'd probably stay away. But with the 2.5, I am just hammering this. The Chiefs -2.5.
Yeah. So I think screw it. I'm gonna go what my gut tells me. 49ers is I'm taking 2.5.
I think you're gonna have a rough week. You're kind of disagreeing on a lot of these.
I am disagreeing. I'm really hoping there's a bunch of upsets that are coming.
That's how it's been though. I mean, honestly, like I said, my betting is not. I mean, obviously, all of our betting's been horrible. So
Yeah.
hopefully, our listeners are not taking our advice.
Maybe they've been fading us all this whole time and been making a bunch of money off of us by not
I would
doing what
say
we're saying. Last 4 o'clock game is Seahawks versus Chargers. Chargers are favored by 6. Personal opinion, I like Chargers. I'm staying away from over under because it's up at 51, but I like Chargers.
six a lot of points against a good Seahawks offense, and Herbert struggled last week pretty bad. I mean, he put up like 8 fantasy points. When's the last time he did that? He
It seems like
hasn't
a
thrown.
lot of
He
a
started
lot
like
of
36 games or something. In 35 of them, he's throwing a touchdown pass. He didn't throw a touchdown pass last
yeah.
night, or not
I
last
feel
night,
like the
but
last couple weeks offenses have been struggling a little bit more. I don't know if it's just because we got more game film now on certain offenses that we're seeing what they're doing and getting them stopped or what, but because
yeah,
Lions a couple weeks ago struggled. Well, there's a few teams that have struggled. It looks like the last couple weeks. So it's like the things that offenses have been doing, I think, are being picked up on now. So I think this is the time where you start changing up your offensive scheme a little bit to throw a defense off. So I think we see some different things. I still like Chargers -6. I think Herbert has a bounce back.
yeah. It's an interesting point because actually a few other podcasts I listened to had mentioned the same thing. It's like, what was it, like 3-4 years ago, kind of when Patrick Mahomes and all these young guys came in and
Yeah.
really changed the NFL with like like the offense,
Yep.
and it's like, are we slowly trending back towards like, everybody always says defense wins championships. And there's like you said, there's only maybe like one or two teams who are consistently having a strong offense, which maybe be like the Chiefs. Honestly, the Seahawks are one of them, and the Bills. I mean, those are probably the three teams who offenses are really consistent so
Yeah.
far this year. But yeah, I'm staying away from this line. I honestly, if I had to choose one, I'm taking Seahawks +6. Chargers, they just seem to be close every game. They normally pull off the win, but staying away from the over under. I would take the +6, but I'm staying away.
All right. Sunday night's game is Steelers versus Dolphins. Last I heard, it sounds like Tua's coming back. I'll be shocked though if they really. I would keep him out one more week, in my personal opinion. And as someone who's had two concussions back to back weeks that both have knocked me completely out, and both ended me in the hospital. Um, just knowing it took me a good 4 weeks to kind of feel 100% right to be back. I mean, I was just at high school sports at that time, but it was about 4 weeks before I felt comfortable being 100% back to normal, no more headaches, stuff like that. So I'm kind of gonna stay away because this is a 7-point favorites over the Steelers. So I'm just gonna stay away from this line. It's just too much of a line right now, and I just don't know how Tua is gonna do if he does come back. So that's where I'm at with this one.
Yeah, I'm actually gonna go a little gamble and take the +7 for the Steelers. Like you said, if Tua's back, I think they have a better chance of winning. Nothing against Teddy. I mean, Teddy's fine. He's kind of like a Jimmy G. I mean, he does the right things. He can win ball games, but he just can't really blow teams out. And if Tua does come back, who knows what to expect? Do we expect the Tua we've seen week 1 and 2, or do we expect the Tua we've seen in the last two seasons?
Exactly. So
So I mean, Steelers just came off a huge win against the Bucks, but we talked about the Bucks, and they're really struggling.
yeah,
So it's tough. I'm gonna take the +7 for the Steelers, and I'm gonna stay away from the over under.
yeah, I would stay away from the over under being at 45. But yeah, if I had to pick, I would be taking Steelers with a +7 just because I don't know what's going to happen. And like I said, my personal opinion is if Tua does come back, he'll probably be able to play. He'll be fairly all right, but I don't think he's gonna be 100% in my opinion. And like I said, this is from personal experience of having two concussions. Both were from dirt bike racing, but both knocked me completely out and both ended me in the hospital. So, oh, and it was about a month before I felt like where I wasn't having a headache when I started exertion. I was probably back to practice 3 weeks in, but it took me about 4 weeks before I was like comfortable to start playing like actual full on hard contact and football and stuff because it was towards the end of the season and for racing. So I was playing football again. So moving on though, we'll finish up with Monday night's game: Bears versus Patriots. Do Patriots have stuff to figure out with this being an 8-point line? I mean, to me, no. I mean, I know Bears have been struggling, but 8 points is just a lot to me.
I'm going real crazy again on this one. I'm taking the Bears money line. I mean, yes, they've looked pretty horrible. Justin Fields finally had a decent game. He had a couple of receivers really step up that hasn't been all season. I mean, Montgomery's back. They have that Herbert who's looking Hebert, is it? I don't know, who's looking actually pretty good. Their defense is looking okay. And the Patriots are kind of going through a little bit of stuff with their QB situation as well. I mean, Mac Jones, I think, is healthy, but they're keeping this rookie in because he's kind of been a guy.
Yeah,
And
and I mean, I don't blame him for that. He's come in with an injury. He comes off the bench when he was called on, and he's been winning games. I mean, and how
but
can
I
you
mean,
fault him and just take him out when he's been playing well? If he starts struggling in a game like we get into this game, and he's just struggling against the Bears, then look at throwing Mac Jones back in. But at this point, I would make sure that both are ready to go and that both are can play and just Mac Jones. Hey, yeah, he earned the spot when you got injured, and he'll stay there as long as he's winning games. If he doesn't win, then yeah, we can throw you back in. But overall, I gotta say with that whole situation, quarterback going on, as much as he's playing well, oh, and Mac Jones is probably gonna be on the back burner for now. I think I gotta take the +8 with Bears. I'm not as crazy as you going money line, but I'm liking the plus
I
eight.
just the Patriots started out so rough, and their roster's not great, and I feel like their schedule's been pretty weak, and it's just like if Zappy plays, I just feel like he's not a Patrick Mahomes. He's not one of these rookies who can just play consistent all year. He's gonna have a bad game. It's just gonna happen, and it just feels like to me this is gonna be one of them. And I'm gonna take the +8 for sure.
I'm
I'm
looking
just
at
gonna throw a
over.
little bit on the money line, and I do like the over on this one. I just scares me just because I mean, like I've said it 8 times, but 85% of the games this year have hit the under.
Yeah, but the overs I'm looking at are all like, 40, 38, trying to get under 40 type of, we're barely, barely over the 40 mark. So that's kind of where I would be at with everything. So I guess what's your bet this week since we've been so crappy? I don't think any of us have hit so far, so I think we're down like $40 this year, but um
Oh,
let's see.
um,
I think I'm taking the Jets +1, and we'll do Cardinals -2 parlay. So those two games parlay 264. So $5 win me 18. So I'll be about half. I'll be negative only half my money if I can win this somehow. So
you're gonna have to put mine in for me again.
okay. Let me know what you want.
So I want Giants money line, Panthers +11, Packers money line, and let's go Chiefs -2.5.
So those four games plus 1,175. $5 wins you like $64.
Okay, it has to hit.
You better hit it so that way you can be up. Man, mine's not
All
very
it takes
big.
is one.
Yep. So, all right. I think wraps up this week's sports talk. Thanks for watching. Peace.